what's up, everyone? I'm Tyler Devin, and with me, I got Gabriel Ansel here.
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here.
Yeah, we got a presentation for you today. It's basically how we generate over $40 million with online lead generation. When we say lead generation, we mean leads for auto, leads for mortgage, leads for
solar.
Solar, that's a great one. Selling car accident leads, anywhere where we could basically broker a lead and pay less or get paid more than what we got paid to generate it. So that's what we'll be going over here today. To get started, who are we? So my name's Tyler Devin. You can find me on Instagram at Tyler M. Devin. I'm an entrepreneur. I own some real estate. I own a few different businesses in the regular world too, not only the online world. And my more or less claim to fame is email marketing. We send a few billion emails a year. We do a lot of list management. So a lot of companies that do lead generation, or just honestly, a lot of guys in the online space that are sitting on email lists and either they're not doing anything with it now, or maybe they're making a little bit of money up from it and they want to make more. They bring it to us. We currently manage over 100 lists. We've generated over $10 million email marketing, managing other people's lists and doing that whole thing. That's kind of the foundation. We also do a lot on paid ads. Currently, we're spending $2 to $3 million a month on paid ads. So we've scaled that as well. But the claim to fame is really on the email side. So super affiliate, been in the lead gen space for a while. And also the co-host of a podcast I have with Gabe called 7-Figure Entrepreneur. And it's all about interviewing online business owners that generate at least 7 figures a year. So that's a little bit about me. Next, we got Gabe up.
What is up, guys? My name is Gabriel Ansel. For you who do not know me, my Instagram's there if you want to hit me up. I've been advertising on Facebook for about 12 years now, maybe more. I'm really bad with time frames, but I've spent over 8 figures on that. Before that, I kind of got into the online space doing email marketing. And that's actually how I met Tyler. We originally shared an office together and worked on some mail stuff together back in the day with RoboMail and just, you know, the good stuff. The like straight up spamming, you know? Yeah, so I'm a super affiliate in the space. I specialize in lead gen, and I mostly do affiliate lead gen. We do a couple in-house offers, but most of the stuff I deal with is affiliate stuff. And yeah, co-host of the 7-Figure Entrepreneur podcast. We've been doing that for probably about 3 years now. It's a really great podcast. If you guys want to check it out, it's all about the content, not about the quality. And we really strive to bring real people forward. So we found that there was a big influx of fake gurus in this space. So we wanted to bring the real dudes from behind the scenes forward and kind of prove that there is some good people in this space that are making big bucks. So that is why we started it. Also, that's me beside my car. I track the shit out of that thing. It is my baby that I love to abuse. And I had to praise Mark Zuckerberg. I had to get the license plate there that says thanks, Zuck, and yeah, tag your sponsor. So that's how I tagged mine.
You have a nice tan in that shot too, bro.
Dude, I have a nice tan all the time. You're welcome.
This is true. It's true. Cool. So let's go over what we're going to cover today. First, we're going to go over the game plan. And in my mind, strategy and tactics are two different things. Strategy is kind of like seeing the overall map and moving the different pieces on the board, where tactics are the nitty gritty of how do you run Google, how do you run Facebook, etc., TikTok, whatever it is. And so the way we think about it is we have the overall strategy that governs the direction we're going and how we want to play the game. Because at the end of the day, we're playing a big game here. We're running ads, we're making small tweaks, we're seeing real-time changes. To us, it's a big game. So the strategy is the game, the tactics are the actual how-tos. And so I'm going to talk about the game plan. Basically what we learned, generate over $40 million, because that's what's got us here essentially, learning from our mistakes, growing, bringing over best practices, all that stuff. And then Gabe's going to plow through his approach to Facebook scaling. When anyone asks me, hey, what is Gabe? And I say, Gabe's a hammer and everything is a nail. So his favorite thing to do is scale the shit out of campaigns really fast. He does it very successfully. If you ever talk to a rep from Facebook, what he does is, in their eyes, not possible, but there's days he'll hit me up. He's like, hey man, we're going to spend 150 grand tomorrow. Make sure we're good. Yeah. My team runs the finances. And we make it happen. So yeah, Gabe's going to go through that. He's going to talk about how he does that. He actually has a course. He's trained other people to do it. So it's definitely something that that you can replicate too. So let's get into the game plan here. What we learned generating over $40 million. So number one is diversify. Anytime people come to me and they are seeing, actually, I would say a lot of affiliates have this issue, especially when they first start out, is they make some money and then they have a bad month and then a good month and a bad month. And their income's like this ever growing roller coaster. It doesn't have to be that way. In fact, I think that we've all kind of gone through this until we kind of figured this out one way or the other. But one thing that's been able to enable us to grow is to have a good foundation. And for us, that strong foundation has really been email. It makes sure all the bills are paid every month. We're producing a profit, and we can invest in building new things. Like we built a couple in-house offers, invest so we can afford the lead gen side, etc. But the way to get there is through Diversify. That's how you build a strong foundation. This game is through diversity. And so I got this from Scott Rearick. Shout out to Scott. I pay him for consulting from time to time. It's been one of the best investments ever. He's spent over 100 million on ads. So great guy to know. You can check him out. But anyway, so this was a situation. I was working with a call center direct, feeding them leads. They were in the legal space. We sell a lot of motor vehicle accident leads. If you don't know that space, it can be lucrative. It's competitive, but if you know what you're doing, you're creative enough, you can make it work. So anyways, we're working with a call center. They have a certain quota we have to hit. And anyways, what happened is we were running all Facebook. Well, Facebook killed both of our accounts, and you can guess what happened to our lead count. It basically fucking disappeared overnight. Pardon my French there. So I called Scott. Hey man, what do I do? And he hit me back with this simple concept that really sank in. And I tried to pass this on to other people. And what it was diversity. And he said, this image on the side here of the pie chart, that was actually a picture of a stock portfolio that we doctored up. But when you have a stock portfolio, you have multiple different types of stocks, right? You wouldn't buy all one stock unless maybe you're a day trader and you do that thing. But generally, most stock portfolios are diverse. That's the whole point. So if one thing dips, something else holds you up, and vice versa. So I want you to think about your traffic portfolio. Remember, this is a strategic idea. I want to think you to think of your traffic portfolio like a stock portfolio. You want to be diversified. And so what Scott told me was, your biggest problem is you're 100% dependent on Facebook right now. He's like, that's a problem. He's like, you can't be that way. So he's like, when we have this call again a year from now, he's like, I don't want you to be any more than 33% Facebook. That means you have another 67% you have to figure out how to fill. And he's like, there's tons of traffic sources out there. There's Google, there's TikTok, there's Snapchat, there's lots of stuff. And so doing this was probably one of the best things that we ever did, because what it enabled us to do was help us. Not only do we have the email money every month, but now we have this every month. We have multiple traffic sources. So if a Facebook account goes down, we don't care. A Google account goes down, we don't care. The goal is to be so diversified and have so many different paths of traffic coming in that if one thing goes, you're not devastated because you have 9, 10 others. On one of the offers we built, we literally have 20 different sources of traffic going to that offer. Guess what? Facebook does go down, Google does go down, everything goes down. But there's so many other things going on that it doesn't impact us more than a few percent. So this was one of the big concepts I want to pass along to you guys today, because doing this has definitely been a game changer. Now you can see in the picture we have here, Facebook's the blue, it's 28%, Google's 28%. And then there's agency one. Gabe's going to talk about this later, but we are definitely a fan of using agencies. The one thing with agencies we notice, I'm not going to steal Gabe's thunder, so apologies if I do a little bit, is that sometimes they're just really bland on creatives. So if you work with them or help them build creatives, that'll help. As far as running traffic, they for the most part can do it. But agencies are great, especially Facebook approved agencies or the equivalent on other traffic sources, because what they're going to do is they're going to make sure that you don't have the downtime that you could possibly see on your own. So agencies
we can touch on that. We can touch on that a little bit if you want, because I didn't go into helping agencies so much, but just more how we leverage them in terms of with the account management side of things. So basically, what Tyler's said, and I'll just go a little bit on that, is agencies run stuff very safe. They're very worried about stealing images. They're very worried about having aggressive campaigns up. And as for me, I like to play everything gray area because gray area converts. It might be a little bit riskier for your ad account, but like at the end of the day, if you are worried about your ad account shutting down, you're never going to really make a buck because that's going to be your fear and you're not going to push hard. But anyway, we found that working with agencies and just kind of pushing them a little bit more to try some more aggressive campaigns and aggressive ads and creatives and such has really helped them sort of blossom into a bigger traffic source, because they have the skill set. They're probably more analytical than you are. Like, I'm speaking from experience, but they like really dig into the numbers. They know what's going on inside and out.
Oh yeah.
The only thing is they're just scared. Scared money don't make money. So push them to run some more aggressive stuff, and you'll see great results from that.
Totally. And the whole reason we got into working with agency was because of downtime. We have the saying in email marketing, the biggest cost in email is not sending email, because email always makes money, which is for the most part true. Well, same when you're running Facebook ads. If you can't run, that means you just have downtime. That's where an agency makes sense to bring in. And what's great about agencies is either they'll charge you a percentage of spend or a flat monthly fee, or a combination of both. Some of the ones we used, and I'll give you guys some big tips here. We do flat monthly fee. So maybe it costs us $5,000, $10,000 a month. Well, if they're making you $100,000 a month, do you really care about $5,000, $10,000 a month? Plus, if you were to bring an internal media buyer, just that person alone would cost the same, where now you get to take advantage of the whole agency and the whole experience they have. The big takeaways I'll give you, big nuggets, is when we look at agencies, say, for example, we're hiring a Facebook, and sorry, Gabe, if you have this on yours. You go to the Facebook agency, like approved agency list, and you'll see a whole list on there of different Facebook agencies. Reach out to those ones because they have better ties with Facebook. They have someone they can talk to over there. Another big tip is find out how much that agency manages as a whole. Because what happens is the more money that agency, at least from what we were told, the more money that agency handles, the higher tier rep they're going to have with Facebook. So it's like, everyone can get, someone over at Facebook, but doesn't mean someone can actually help you do anything. Where these agencies have direct lines sometimes to top people, meaning when your account gets shut down and it shouldn't have been, or you need things pushed through, they can actually do this. So I want you to think of the agency as like basically a little bit of like insurance. Everyone hates paying for it, but everyone's glad they did when they need it. So that's how agencies fit into this.
And I dive into it a little bit more. I give you that link and stuff too to find agencies, but we'll hit that on the back end.
Next, I'm going to skip email newsletter here. I'll get back in a sec. Bing. Going on to Bing. The quality in Bing is unreal. Definitely a traffic source you guys should try if you haven't. It outperforms Google search and every other thing I've pretty much seen. It's shocking. The crappy part about Bing is there's only so much traffic, but if you have bad quality, Bing can help you bring your overall quality up. So that's how Bing plays into this. Next, Affiliate One. We just didn't have the perfect pie chart, and we didn't want to make one. So I said one affiliate, have 5. Have a few different people that send you traffic. That way, if you're down and they're sending you traffic, you're still good because you're still making money. And then finally, email newsletter 1. So email newsletter 1, email newsletter 2. There's so much email traffic out there. Like, guys are pumped to spend, 50, 100 grand a day on Facebook. You can drive more traffic on email if you know where to buy the email from. There's just so much email traffic to be had. I heard of one guy, he was doing he went from 0 to 5 million a month in just a few months. 90% of his traffic was email. So if you guys know how to work with email, you know how to buy email traffic, there's just so much of it out there, guys, both just in the US, and you can buy internationally too. There's different laws, so that can get a little bit sticky, but for US, it's just a great market, and there's just so much traffic. And again, the whole plan is diversify. So if your Facebook account goes down, but you have 5 affiliates and you have a couple agencies and you're running Google and you're running Bing and you got your newsletters going, you're going to be good. So diversity and diversification is so important to having a good solid foundation. Second thing is be different. Be different on how you approach this game as a whole. And I know a lot of guys, especially in this audience, I know they're running, VSL offers and things like that, not just lead generation. This kind of applies for everything. Like you can hire agencies and you can run, VSLs on Google, on email, all this stuff. So the same laws really apply. We've just done it in lead gen. So be different. What I mean by that is you can go and steal what other people have done, and that's not a bad place to start, but you also can't end your game there. So when you're running campaigns, like, cool, you want to try some refi offers, you want to try steal some pages, everyone's done it. It is what it is, but you need to refine upon that. The guys that do the biggest days and make the most money consistently are the guys who are constantly building new. So start with something, but eventually be different, put your own new spin on things, because the biggest upsides you're going to see is when you come up with a new angle someone hasn't hit yet, and then you're scaling on Facebook, and then you bring it to Google and it works. And then all of a sudden you have a few affiliates, maybe you give it to, and they're running it. Then you're dropping it on news or newsletters. Like you can see how this is a snowball that will quickly climb, right? So be different, but also be different in your strategy as a whole. I'm going to tell you something we do that not a lot of other people done. I've shared this before, but what we do is when we start working really closely with an offer owner or people generating an offer owner, or there's some networks that own their offers, we basically say, hey, if I send you enough traffic, will you send me your email data in return? And so you know how much we're spending. We're doing $2 to $3 million a month spend on paid traffic. You got to think about how much volume, how much email we're sending or we're generating from that. And yes, we're sending to a third party. But what we do is we have a deal in the back end where they're sending the data back to us so we can now email that data. This gives us the opportunity to double dip. This gives us a leg up on the competition to be able to compete more aggressively in these markets, because while everyone else is so focused on the front end, we're making money on the back end too. We have some rev share partners we literally pay over 100 grand a month to, and that's money we make from emailing their list. So being different, approaching things differently, having a broader view is going to give you a huge strategic advantage, and it's going to make it so that you can compete when other people can't even get close, and they're going to wonder how you did it. Little do they know about all the back end stuff that you're doing. And again,
another point on that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, another point on that is like, so let's say the offer owner doesn't want you to do that and they won't give you the data. Some people will let you host and post, where you basically just create email, like an email box, and you gather that email, or you can create a funnel that has like a funnel in it that like gathers that email further forward in the funnel and then directs them to that offer. So there's other ways to grab it, even if you don't, even if the offer owner doesn't want you to do so.
Totally. And that was a great point. You can build your own funnel where you collect an email. Another thing is there's a piece of code that you can put on your page that actually identifies the emails of people coming through. That's another way you could do it. Or you could gather email and SMS. SMS is super lucrative if you know what you're doing there. The overall point of this is just be different, because being different, approaching things different is going to give you a different opportunity in the space. Next thing, you good with that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, what's the name of that company? Get Emails?
Get Emails is one, but there's other ones too. Get Emails.
Okay.
Like you kind of got to look into it more, and I know we don't have the time to go into it, but that's absolutely one. Another thing, part of the game plan is be in big markets. I like to be in big markets where I could spend, like I want to spend $500,000 a day on ads. That's how much money I want to spend. I'm not there yet. I forget, we easily spend 6 figures a day on some days.
For sure.
But being big markets, that's where you're gonna have the biggest opportunity. One thing to keep in mind is these bigger markets are competitive. So that ties into number 2. Figure out a way to be different in those big markets. Do your thing differently. But you need to be in big markets in order to make big dollars. What I love about, so the downside of lead gen is generally it's limited to certain markets. So US only or whatever it is, right? What's great about the VSL stuff, so much of this you can run in English speaking countries. So the opportunity to scale it in countries where traffic's cheaper and converts better, that gives you big growth too. So this is not just for the lead gen guys, this is VSL guys too. Just be in big markets. Next, have a strategic advantage. This does tie in a lot to number 2. How do you approach things differently? I always like to think about protecting your castle. What kind of moats do you have in place so that when people come in to compete with you, because I promise they're going to compete with you, we might even compete with you. You need to figure out how you can have an advantage over everyone else. And there's so many ways to have an advantage. One of the things, Gabe, I'm not sure if he's going totally into it, but just different bidding strategies can give you advantage. There's just all sorts of things that you can do in this game, or like have the advertiser pass the data back. Or what you could do is, a lot of advertisers, if you actually go through their flow, at the very end, they have an offer wall. You could have an email opt-in right there, collect the data there. There's so many ways you can approach this game to have a strategic advantage. I would say one of the biggest things I see people make, mistakes I see people make that kind of keeps them, going up and down and not really seeing crazy growth, is that they just get so focused on, 1 or 2 Facebook accounts and making that work. And they don't really see the bigger picture. That's what I'm trying to expose you guys to here. So have a strategic advantage. Next, number 5, care about the back end. In the lead gen game, not every lead is the same from a value perspective. There could be 5 different Facebook advertisers and each have a different quality of lead. Quality is a very real thing. We've learned so much working with call centers, learning about their processes and how they work, and just seeing how things operate. And that got us so much more connected to the quality on the back end, because at the end of the day, if you want to scale huge, your traffic has to convert. If you just want to make $1,000 a day and you're going to burn and churn offers, it's just a short game. And it's a game where you don't even have to put in that much more work to get to 10K, 20K, 30K, 50K days profit, not just gross, by giving a crap about the back end. So caring about the back end is super important. And so what we do is we prefer to work with people. If we work with networks, we want to work with a network where they actually can give us back end information. We had a podcast actually with a big affiliate manager in our space, and she was even talking about one thing they'll do from time to time is they'll change the sub ID for the affiliate, because the different sub ID will go into the client's call software in different places. So a new sub ID might get a better chance at first call rotation, where other leads might be delayed. And the bigger delay between the lead coming in and them receiving a phone call is only going to hurt your quality. So it's stuff like that if you know about it, that's going to tie back to number 4, having a strategic advantage. But ultimately, you need to care about the back end, because the back end is what's going to help you scale. The other thing the back end is going to do, it's going to help you get paid more money per lead. That's another strategic advantage. If your data that you're generating is better quality than other people, who is the advertiser going to want to buy from? They're going to buy from you. And even if it costs more, they're still going to want to buy it. Absolutely. You guys got to think there's an infrastructure cost to being able to service all these leads. And if they can make a better return on their investment with you, they're going to spend their money with you. So give them a reason to do that. The other thing they're going to do is, at the end of the day, all these companies can only take in so many leads a day. So when you actually have good quality on the back end, they're going to be able to pull leads away from other affiliates and just give it to you. And that's another huge strategic advantage. In fact, in one of the spaces we're in, that's been a game changer for us. We've literally pushed other players out of the market only because we've cared more about the back end and how it's working. And I encourage you guys to do the same. Next, focus on the big picture and build a team. There's no way we would be able to get to where we are without a team. I know a lot of people, when they hear this, they think, especially if you haven't, crossed 8 figures a year yet. I honestly don't know how you would do it without building a team. I'm sure there's guys out there, but I know I certainly couldn't. But building a team is going to be so important. I definitely had situations, or in the past, I've had things where it's like, but they can't do it as well as I can. You really have to let go of that. What's going to happen is you're eventually going to find that not only can they do it just as good or better than you, but you'll be able to do more and focus more on your strengths if you let them do what they're doing, and just give them time to learn, give them time to make mistakes. Because they focus on only that, over time they should get better than you, because they're not distracted with everything else that comes with building a company. So really take a step back, focus on the whole big picture, and invest in building a team, because building a team is what's going to be able to help you scale and get to the next level. Next, run a business like a business. Amex doesn't just let anyone spend, $500,000 or $1 million before you pay them. That comes with, years of financials, steady cash flow, profit every year. It comes from running your business right, meaning do all the financial stuff. I know there's a lot of guys out there that they get behind on their taxes, they don't have their financials done. And really it hurts them in the long run. It holds them back from scaling, because now maybe they have to pay some sort of company that borrows them money, eats into their profit margins. When you run a business like a business and you take care of it like you should, it's so much easier to get the capital you need to scale. We have some credit cards that let us spend, $500,000, $750,000, $1 million, and lines of credit that do the same. We literally can be set up to spend $500,000 a day without any issues, only because we made sure that we've tied up the financials as we went. Because if you can't do that, no one's going to be there to give you the money, or at least it'll be a lot harder. So make sure you run your business like a business. Next, set up your life for success. As you grow in scale, the challenges you hit are bigger and bigger. So I feel like this is almost basic, just saying this out loud to you guys. But it's important you do it. We are very fortunate with the lifestyle we live, where we can, we could party every day of the week if we want to. We can jump on planes, go here and there, and do that. But when you do that stuff and you burn yourself out, you're not bringing your best self to the table every day. Some of the things I personally do and Gabe personally does to make sure that we don't get into burnout mode, or we're able to bring our best game to the table. And we've doubled every year for the last 3 years. But that doesn't happen just by mistake. It's because we're doing all the things that we need to do to make it happen. So get good sleep. I have a coach for my workout, for my nutrition, I've had mentors. I have several mentors, just everything I need to be able to be the type of person it takes to build a company like this. One thing you'll find is, as your business doubles, the way you have to operate your business has to change, because what got you here won't get you there. And that can be a very challenging thing, especially if you're running on fumes all the time. So really prepare yourself, work out, take care of your body, take care of your family, do what you need to do, because that's only going to make you better when you bring it to this game.
Yeah, and I feel like this game demands a lot of attention to be in the top level. So,
and all the top guys, when you talk to them, you'd be impressed with all the stuff that they're doing to really optimize themselves. Biohacking's big in the space. Yeah, all sorts of things, and guys are looking for that edge, and the guys looking for the edge are the ones that get the edge and make the money.
Yeah, agreed.
Network.
I go to the bathroom really quick.
Sure. All right.
Keep going.
Next one, number 9, network and be curious about what others are doing. What's so cool about our industry, especially the younger generation, is people are so open in telling you what they're doing and what's going on. There's numerous courses out there that literally take you behind the scenes of some awesome campaigns. And just getting yourself out there, learn what type of opportunities exist is what's going to create more opportunities for you. So all these events, one thing I do anytime I go to an event, and say I go to an event, I spend 20 grand, I want to make sure I get at least 40 grand worth of value, meaning I get a couple more email lists to manage, or I find some new offers, or something happens where I'm like, wow, this event was pure ROI. And it's generally far better than that. So getting out there, meeting other people in the industry, talking about what's working, what's not working, or what challenges people are having, really creates opportunity for you if you go to take advantage of it. So get out there, take it part, and you'll be shocked to see what you find. The last thing is thinking outside the box. I had one coach I hired for a while, great guy, Chris Guerrero. I think he runs 3 8-figure businesses, which is freaking amazing. I know a lot of people, struggle to get to one. So the fact that he manages 3 simultaneously is awesome. One thing he told me is take your skill set to a market that has a lot of money. So for example, we have such a great skill set, online ads. we have the capability to have a positive impact on almost any business we touch. Just because we know how to advertise online. You'd be shocked at what you find when you go out there and you start talking to other businesses that don't even have offers in our space. One example I want to give you is there was a nurse staffing company. I think they were, when we went to see them, they're about a $300 million company. Long story short, they brought us in to look at their ads, and they had an in-house digital team, 2 or 3 guys. All they did was like eat, sleep, poop ads for their company. That's all they did. And when we came in, they're like, hey, our target cost per lead is 150. We're hitting 100. We're really happy. And we took a look at their setup and we're like, we think we can help you. Long story short, without even changing their ads, we were able to bring their cost per lead from $100 down to $25. To do that, all we did was set up the Facebook pixel. We literally just set up the conversion pixel for them. And they had 2 or 3 in-house guys. They're already a successful $300 million a year company. And they didn't know this stuff. The opportunity we have, guys, to take our skill set out there into other businesses is humongous. I think that guys who do that are going to be rewarded with 8, 9, 10-figure buyouts if they do it right. So it's just a huge opportunity. It's a sleeping giant that's out there. We're currently working on an internal project that they have a few thousand contracts a year that go out. It's not in our space. And just each one of them has a marketing budget of 15 to 50 million. And this stuff exists by going out there, being curious, but also thinking outside the box. Where does your skill set, where could it greatly impact another business that isn't even our space? This gives you the opportunity to play in blue oceans and really gives you the opportunity for having a huge upside. So that's it. That's the game plan. That's the strategy. These are some of the big lessons we learned. The big one I really want to point out to you guys, if you take nothing away from this, is really diversify. Have multiple traffic sources going, because that's really going to help you lay a solid foundation for building and scaling and bringing on team members and doing what you need to do to take your company to the next level.
Well done, sir. Well done. All right, guys, I'm going to take this over. So I'm going to go over some how we manage our Facebook accounts, how we rent them. And then I am going to go into a little bit of how we scale. So, all right, let's just start off with the account renting. So basically, if you've been in a situation where you've lost your account, which I'm sure a majority of you have, if you're running on Facebook, it kind of leaves you in a pickle, right? And so the number one rule is you want to be running ads. You don't want to be sitting there twiddling your thumbs with no Facebook accounts, because that is a huge pain in the ass and it's a big loss money wise to you. So what we do, we rent accounts off friends and family. And basically all we do is just say, hey, most people have Facebook accounts. They don't even know they have ad accounts attached to those. They have zero use for them. So we rent those off those people. We pay about $80 USD per login. And we do that monthly, pay them monthly for that. You can pay whatever you want for that. It's really up to you. Some people do like 30, some people do more. I know some people have done up to 1,000, but it really depends on how generous you are or what your funds are like. If you eventually run out of friends and family, you can run Craigslist ads. There's tons of people out there that would gladly take $80 a month just to have their accounts rented to them. Yeah, it's great. I even like reach out to random people I know at like coffee shops if I need them, like if you go to a coffee shop every day, you see someone, you build that repertoire with that person, just ask to be like, hey, do you want to make this kind of money? And yeah, go from there. So I do that for a few local businesses and I use their Facebook accounts and they've been great. The more the better with this, All right, so this was coined the Doug setup method because in my course, I have a Facebook lead gen course. In my course, I just made the main user Doug. And so someone's like, oh yeah, the Doug method. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh, your Facebook method to set up accounts. And I'm like, all right, it's the Doug method. Doug's just a nice bloke from down the road. So he gets the title of this method. All right, so this is a bit confusing. I will do my best to explain it. The next slide, there's a little bit of an image. We'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, let me run through this. So the main account, Doug's account, let's say Doug's my buddy. I'm renting it off him. He's local to me. He lives in Vancouver. I live in Vancouver, BC, Canada. So I want someone that's local to me, just so it looks like I'm Doug and logging in different places in Vancouver. Like, let's say, for example, you log in from your home IP and then you're also logging in from your work IP, right? Like that looks like normal protocol to Facebook, whatever. So that's why I need someone that is local to me. To set this up, I create a new Gmail account and I set up a new Chrome user tab. So I wish I could show you, but I can't. My desktop, I have probably about like 5 Chrome users, and each one of those is a different Chrome user that has a different Facebook account or Facebook user attached to that, if that makes sense. So basically all I'm trying to do is keep it separate, because I have my personal Facebook account in one of those Chrome users, but then I also have Doug's in another one that I access and manage all my accounts from. So the way I kind of look at this is like, think of it if I was an agency, like let's say Doug as an agency manages all these people's accounts, they hire them. And that's kind of how I did it. We'll set up like that. So you set up a new browser, new Chrome user. I'm sure you could also use a different browser if you wanted, like if you wanted to use Safari or Firefox, whatever, but I like Chrome and it works good for me. So next step, set up Doug's business manager with all your business info and verify the business manager. This isn't a needed step, but I like to do it. It just adds that one extra level of authenticity. Yeah. It just makes it seem a little bit more legit. So I like to add whatever it takes to verify the domains. You got to submit some, or not the domain, the business. You have to submit some paperwork sometimes and go through those steps. If you don't know how to do it, you can Google it. There's lots of like step-by-step on there. And the reason I do this also is because agency confirmed to me and told me that this is the way it should be done. So I suggest doing it. All right. So Doug's account, the main account, is not set up to run ads on. It is set up as a user. Okay. So basically the reason I do this is because like, I don't want to run some gray area stuff on Doug's ad accounts, get the BM flagged, get the ad accounts flagged, and then in turn that flags the user, right? The whole goal of Doug's account is to manage all the other business managers that are below me. So it stays fairly safe. And I know that there's still risk losing the user with that. But I feel like this is one step removed and it makes it a little bit safer. Yeah, once again, this is how an agency would set it up. So just think of yourself as an agency or the account you're renting off, or the person's account you're renting off, and think about how would an agency set this up, add them to all the BMs, add them to all the ad accounts, so on and so forth. I don't stress about IPs if I'm local. So like I said, right now, I have my personal open on this computer that I'm on right now. And then I also have Doug's open on mine right now. And I have no issue. I've been running this way for about 2 years now, actually longer. I've just different users. And I have no issues at all with that. And I don't know if any of you guys have tried, but no remote logins, no TeamViewer. TeamViewer is slow as hell. I can't stand it. It really was hindering how fast I was getting the stuff done. So I don't use that. All right. So this is kind of how it is set up. This is a really high quality drawing. You guys are welcome. But this is how I have it set up. So Doug, main user, he's local to me. He is the main account that just manages all the sub business managers below him and users. All right. So if we go down here to BM1, that is another person's account who I've rented off. Her name is Jackie. All these names are accurate, by the way. I wasn't creative enough to come up with fake names. So I rent an account off Jackie. Under her account, this is an account that I run ads on. And under each account of those persons, I have about 5 ad accounts, 2 business managers. So you can get a lot of accounts out of that. And also I'm going to tell you about how we get more accounts on there as well in the future slides. So as you can see, each one of these is set up with the other users as admins on each one of these accounts. Because what you really want to do is you want to have all these people admins on all these accounts, because if you lose admin access, I don't know if any of you have, but sometimes Facebook, what they do is you run too many shady ads or whatever it may be, they'll block you as a user. And that's a worst case to be in, because your ad accounts are still running. Your business managers are still up, but you as a user is blocked. You don't have the tools to do anything in Facebook, and you're basically just stuck holding or twiddling your thumbs, whatever you want to call it. So this way, you have the option to add other users to each BM and manage those BMs. So let's say, for example, Doug got banned. I can take over Jackie's account and manage all these other business managers and use Jackie as my user. I know this is getting a little confusing. Tyler, are you confused?
A little bit.
A little bit. I don't know how else to explain it, but basically the goal of it is make everyone a user on all the business managers and ad accounts you have, just in case you lose users. So you always have a backup to pause your shit or run your shit. So as you can see there, yeah, no, it's fine. We can go on to the next one. As you can see there, just spread it out, get every user on every account, and you should be safe. So common questions I get with ad account renting or BM and user account renting. Do you verify the other BMs with the same company info? Yes, I do. I have the same company info across, man, probably like 4 business managers right now, and all is well. They all verified. Everything is good. How do I manage logging in while traveling? That was a common question in my course people were asking. So if I'm traveling, I will pay the person some extra cash to stay off their Facebook, their mobile chat, their desktop, everything. Just completely log out of all Facebook. Except for Instagram. I've been fine with people staying on Instagram, and that has been safe for me. I've traveled all over the US using these accounts with doing this method, and I have had no issues. Sometimes because it's a new IP, they make you verify that you're the right user or you're the actual user for it. But you can just set up 2-step authentication, and it should be fine. So I haven't had any issues with that. Yeah, final point is always have the account set up and on deck, ready to go. Your downtime could be worth $1,000 a day in profit, right? Or more. So yeah. All right. Leveraging agencies. As we know, when COVID hit, Facebook has absolutely terrible support, like hot garbage. Live chat disappeared for a lot of people's accounts. And if you did have live chat, it was very third world country-ish. You weren't really getting the answers you wanted. They were basically just copying and pasting stuff out of the book. So we found that was very frustrating to us, and we were having issues getting accounts back if we got them banned, where before a real person would look at them and be like, oh, you're not running shady stuff or whatever, and you'd get them back and all would be well. But since COVID hit, not the case. So what we did is we have hired a high-level agency, much like Tyler was talking about earlier, and we have added them to all of our business managers and to all of our ad accounts, and they help us with compliance issues, account disabled, disapprove ads, basically anything Facebook related. Even if you want to run by your creatives to them and be like, hey, like, what do you think of this? Is this going to get me banned? They can review it, go over it, so on and so forth. What we found with this is that just by having them on our accounts, we no longer get banned. And I don't know the exact answer as to why, because it is Facebook and nobody gives you accurate answers with that. But my assumption is they see the high quality of the agency and that user itself, and then that stems over to your business manager. and kind of puts it at a different level, if that makes sense. I can't confirm or deny this, but we've had this setup going for over 2 years now, and I've never lost an account. I did in the very beginning, and they instantly got it back for me. So by doing this, I never have downtime. I've been using the same business manager for the last 2 years with the same like 7 ad accounts on it. No issues at all. And they just have a higher level of rep if you do have questions. So we were running into issues where we were running ads and it kept on getting promoted for getting flagged for like financial services or political or something like that. And it wasn't at all. And I didn't even know that they could do this, but I kept complaining to the agency, be like, hey, can you like take this up with your rep, take this up with your rep? And they're like, yeah, we'll put it in the system that it's not political anymore. And so they basically got an ad that was getting flagged for political all the time, and it never gets flagged anymore. Same creative, same everything. It's smooth sailing. So I don't know how they did that, but they did that. And that comes back to just having a higher level agency and a higher level rep is an absolute game changer for you. Also, if you need account bumps, like spending bumps, we can scale really fast on new accounts, because let's say out of the gate, your account's stuck at $2,500 spend, then it goes up to $5,000 spend. You can really be hung up if you want to scale fast and you like have a campaign that's really working and you just want to throw everything at it. With having an agency on there, you can get them to bump up your ad spend limits daily way faster. And yeah, it makes your life 10 times easier, and it's well worth the $5,000 every month. So yeah, man. Any points on that, Tyler?
No, just that agencies, again, we think about like insurance. You hate paying for it, but it comes in super handy. And again, downtime is expensive. So the whole motto is don't be down. Overall, it's kind of an underlying theme, but we try to have no single point of failure. We try to have redundancy in place, just so we just don't have the same issues that other people suffer from. Everything Gabe's going to now, this is very tactical. This is just Facebook.
Yeah.
We do stuff similar on Google, TikTok, other traffic sources. And when you put that massive pie together, that's what enables you to really start posting up really big numbers consistently, by having all these pieces in place.
Yeah. All right. So for finding agencies, Tyler mentioned this before, but this is the link that you can go to find the partner directory. This is all the approved partner agencies that are associated with Facebook. In there, there's different things you can select, like budget and location and so on and so forth. So if you wanted to find someone local to you and meet face-to-face with them and kind of tell them what's up, you can do so. Or I can introduce you to the agency we use. This has been discussed with the agency, and they're open to new people coming on. So you can just hit me up at support@lockedinlead.com, and I will pass that on for you. And when you reach out to them, explain exactly what you're looking for. You're not looking for ad management. And I mean, if you are, go for it. But if in this case, we're not looking for ad management, you're just looking for someone to help you with support and keep your accounts active. And a lot of agencies will be down with that. And also negotiate price, because I feel like some of these agencies will have like a $10,000 a month fee. But we've seen situations where you can get it much lower than that, just because they're not actually putting in the work for you. They're just there as insurance.
Yeah.
So cool. All right. This is the big one. Scaling your Facebook campaigns. This is my personal favorite. Everything else on Facebook, I have zero interest in. I don't love testing. I don't love any of that, but this is like the fun stuff, because this is when you can make money. I'm slightly a degenerate gambler when it comes to this stuff, and I absolutely love it. So I just want to make a note. If you are using a brand new Facebook account that hasn't had a lot of spend on it, go very, very slow with this. Keep the duplications on a low, keep the spend on a low, because if you spend stuff way too fast or spend too fast on that ad account, it will get shut down. So slow and steady will win this race, unless you have a seasoned ad account, and then just beat it up. All right. A few things to cover before we dig in. Audience overlap. This is the number one question I get. Aren't you worried about audience overlap? I do recognize that it's a thing, and I do see that it can hinder your ads, but I feel like if you have a good enough creative that is engaging enough, it almost overrides the audience overlap to the point where, and I'll show you in here, you're launching 200 ad sets a day and it's all the same audience to the same everything. And it's not an issue. So I agree that audience overlap is a thing, but I'm not concerned about it. A good creative will beat that out. Benefits of the scaling method is you can keep your losses small, or you can dig yourself out of a losing day. I had a situation where I was running home insurance and I woke up and I was probably in the hole -$3,000. By the end of the day, I was up $8,000 just because of this method, because it gives you the opportunity to pause the losers and then just let the winners ride, and it'll offset that loss and turn your day into a break even or a profit. So it really minimizes your losses, which is fantastic. It's more hands-on, this setup, but honestly, I feel like a lot of us used to just rely on Facebook and be like, oh, we're waiting for it to optimize. We're waiting for it to optimize. And as there is some optimization with Facebook, I feel like that's bullshit, and you can kind of force your hand with it, and don't let Facebook do its thing, because I find people, I think it's a good way to lose money. Like, let's say you're running $1,000 ad and you're like, oh, I'm just waiting for it to optimize. You have no clue how long that's going to take or if that's even going to work. So I say screw that, and I just take it into my own hands. And if it's optimized out of the gate, it's optimized out of the gate. This method works with CBO or ad set budget. I'm going to talk about it in ad set budget because that's mostly what I use, but it works with both. I've done it both ways. Most of my ads, actually 99% of my ads, I run on dynamic ads, which is Facebook's sort of automatic testing system. So you can put in 2 to 4 images, 2 to 4 text or 2 text bodies, 2 headlines, 2 call to actions, and that's how I run it. And then Facebook's just constantly rotating traffic to those different combos and picking which one works best and then pushing all the traffic to that. So that takes a little bit of time. I usually let those run for 3 to 4 days, 5 days to let Facebook run its course on those and figure out which one is a winner. I only run wide targeting. I do not do interest. I do not do any sort of like lookalikes, none of that crap. I just do, for us, Leadgen is all US. So for me, I use US wide, male to female, 40 to 65, depending on what the niche is, and auto placements. I don't select different placements. I let Facebook run its course and use its tools itself. I'm kind of a lazy marketer, but I feel like Facebook enjoys that because that's why they've created all these systems and optimizations in there. And finally, a good creative will beat out any niche versus targeting. So like you can target the crap out of a bad creative or set up targeting like crazy on a bad creative, but it's not going to beat out a good creative on wide. And wide targeting gives you the chance to scale big time. So I focus all my energy on the creative. And once a creative works on wide, I know it's go time and it's time to scale it up. Cool. Tyler, next up, buddy.
Is
it working? We got it?
Yep.
Tyler's in control of the slides. We were debating who should be in control of the slides, but my screen's so wide that it wouldn't work properly. So he is in control.
Did it not switch for you?
All right. No, I got it.
Okay.
It just looks so similar that I didn't even notice. All right. So this is how we're going to do it. Test until your duplicates hold. All right. So what I mean by that is you are at the point now, you're testing all your different creatives. You think you have something that works, an ad set in this case, and it's holding the ROI or ROAS. I speak in ROI because I don't really have product costs or anything like that. So, but if you want, we can speak in ROAS as well. So you want it to hold at least 100% plus, or sorry, 50% plus ROI, because you will decrease at scale. At scale, we generally aim for like 20 to 30% profits. because the goal here is to spend as much as you can. And yeah, I don't know. Honestly, like I'll spend 100 grand to make 10. I don't really care. 10 grand is 10 grand, you know, it is what it is. So once a duplicate is holding that ROI, start increasing your budget on new duplicates. So let's say, for example, you were running your test ads at $100 a day. What you're going to do the next day is you're going to duplicate those. So you have $200 a day ads, and then you're going to make 2 more that are $250 or whatever you may choose to do. You can do 200 or whatever. The whole point is to keep duplicating and spend more. And you're just going to keep that pushing up and up and up until Facebook kind of says, hey, we're not going to hold ROI at this budget level. And then that's when you start backing off. So what you're going to do is you're launching campaigns 3 to 4 hours before you decide to review your ad sets. So I like to launch my ad sets at around 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Eastern. And then I'll wake up and check those 3 to 4 hours later to see what's holding the proper ROI or the proper CPL or whatever you want to call it, just your ideal cost per action. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go through all those and you're going to pause the ones that are not meeting that ideal CPA or that ideal ROI. Same thing. And then, yeah, that's pretty much all you do for that. Sorry, I lost my place. Each day, you're going to double your duplicates and budget on duplicates as long as the ROI is holding. So if not, back off to the previous budget the next day on your duplicates. So I already talked about this again. You're going to keep pushing the budget every day on the duplicates. So let's say we made it to that next day and it's holding at a $250 budget. The next day, you're going to pump it to $500 budget. The next day, $750. The next day, $1,000, whatever you want to do. And then as soon as that ROI doesn't hold anymore, back off to the previous one and keep backing off, so on and so forth. At peak, while you're doing this, your account's going to have 100 to 200 ad sets being launched a day in it. And all you're going to do is the night before, you're going to launch for, let's say, 5 a.m. Eastern time or whatever time you choose. And then you're going to wake up 3 to 4 hours after that, or set rules 3 to 4 hours after that. And you're going to kill all the ones that are not your ideal CPA. And as the day goes on, you're going to keep doing this over and over and over again, and pausing the ones that are not in your ideal CPA. So basically, you're never letting an account or letting an ad set go past your ideal CPA and eat into your profits. You can go to the next slide. All right. So I've covered a little bit of that already, but let's do it again. After ads have ran 3 to 4 hours, you're going to go through and pause the ad sets that are not on your ideal CPA. You're going to check every 2 to 3 hours, depending on budget, and pause ad sets that are not at your ideal CPA. So I say depending on budget, because if you have ad sets that are, let's say, doing $2,500 a day, that's going to spend a lot faster than one that's at $250 a day. So you want to be on that probably every hour, keeping a watch, because you can dump spend pretty quick on those. All right, so leads or sales will come in post pausing. So what will happen is, let's say you have a campaign and it's not at your ideal CPA, you pause it, and then you check back a few hours later and it's now in your ideal CPA. Don't turn that back on. You can if you want, but from my experience, it kind of throws off the algorithm, throws off everything, and it just won't hold. And it'll just turn into a loss and you'll end up pausing it again. So I like to just cut my losses and move on and just focus on the ad sets that are running and are at that ideal CPA. And then once again, you rinse and repeat the next day. Launching duplicates in the morning, pause 3 hours later, continue to pause throughout the day, same as the day before. It's really that simple. So it's not rocket science behind this. All you got to do is just launch duplicates once your campaigns are holding and you have a profitable creative, and each day you just pause the losers as the day goes on to hold your profits. Another option is you can also set up pause rules in Facebook. So you can have them run every 2 to 4 hours on your ad sets, so you don't have to be glued to your computer. If you don't know how to set up rules, you can really dig through and Google it. Facebook has a good tutorial how to set up rules. YouTube has tons of tutorials to set up rules. It's pretty simple. So this is just a screenshot when I was running at full tilt, and you can see in the bottom left corner, it says I'm running 215 ad sets. And as you can see, tons of them are paused. A few of them are active, and it shows that I've spent 29,000 to make 39,000. So it does work. It does hold. It's a little bit older screenshot. I just haven't had anything recently. But yes, this is what your account will look like at full tilt. If you guys have any more questions about that, feel free to hit me up at support@LockedInLead or hit me up on Instagram. I know there is a lot of questions that get hung up on in the scaling stuff, but we don't really have Q&A on this, so I can't answer them. But I will gladly help you out. All right, diversifying on Facebook. So first off, we like to, this is just Facebook. So I only manage Facebook. Tyler handles that other stuff. So this is just Facebook. And this is how I found that we're never really running out of, we never have a lack of profit coming in this way. So what we're doing is we're testing 2 to 5 niches across multiple accounts. I test across 6 different Facebook accounts at once. And the reason for that is not all Facebook accounts are created equal. So let's say you have niche 1, let's call it auto insurance. I will test that auto insurance niche, same ads, same everything, same landing pages, same offer across 6 different accounts. And I can assure you that off those 6 different accounts with the same creative, the same offer, same everything, one is going to perform way, way better. Accounts get quality ratings, and the higher quality accounts will just work better and be easier for you. I find some people really try and force creatives to work on one Facebook account. I like to go with the lowest hanging fruit. So that's why I test across 6 accounts and then focus on the one that's giving me the lowest cost per action. So definitely test that out. It's a game changer, and it has helped me scale so much in the past 2-3 years. At any given time, we're running 4 to 5 niches. The best part about that is if 3 of those niches or 4 of those niches die off, we're still making money. Because really you can just have one niche that can crank out like 10K a day if you want, right? Like, or you can have 4 that are cranking out $1,000 a day or $2,000 a day. And what you're going to find is different niches work better based on the time of year. And this totally isn't dependent on buying patterns or seasons, but for lead gen, it could be based on what the offer owners are paying out, how tight their lead funnel is. Like, what's the correct term for that, Tyler?
How tight? Well, I think how you put it here, it's like how desperate a company is for leads.
Yeah. So, and what you can do is, you'll find that certain times of year, things just work better, and it has absolutely nothing to do with seasons or people's buying habits. It just has to do with how desperate the companies are for leads and how tight their rules are set up on the back end. That makes sense. Yeah. Cause like they can lower their standards for what's an acceptable lead.
Yeah, more on that too. Every lead gen offer has, well, at least everyone that I can think of has different filters. Meaning if like if you're shopping for car insurance and someone doesn't own a car, and they don't qualify for car insurance, obviously, and so you're not going to get paid on that. So there's different filters. So that's another thing that goes in. That's a whole other discussion, but that goes to knowing the back end as well. Because the better you know that stuff, that can give you a huge advantage over other people. Yeah, and we definitely noticed that different times of year, different things work better, and there's no rhyme or reason. Like you can't just say like auto insurance crushes in summer, because it could be any time of year. It just depends what the buyers are looking for. Always have backup offers in the same niche. So with lead gen, you get given caps if you don't own the offer. So you're, for example, allowed 5,000 or let's say 500 leads a day on one auto insurance offer. And that can be really limiting if you have a really dialed in creative and you're looking to scale, right? So what we like to do is we like to have multiple auto insurance offers on deck.
And then what we'll do is we'll rotate through them throughout the day. So we start with the one that's the best converting, because there's always going to be one that's best converting. And then once we hit the cap in that one, we'll move to the next one. And once we hit the cap in that one, we'll move to the next one. And that way we're continually running traffic and not having to pause stuff after that first 500 cap. So always have offers on deck. And that comes down to working with, I didn't mention it on here, but it comes to working with good affiliate networks. And it's good to have a handful of affiliate networks that you work with, that you trust, because you can get different offers from different affiliate networks to fill those caps. We also, what we're not supposed to do, but we do, and I don't really care to tell the people, is let's say one affiliate network has an offer from a specific company. Let's just call the company A. You can get more cap from company A from a different affiliate company and keep going down the line. Because what happens is you'll find company A is on like 5 different affiliate networks. So you know that offer is good, but you show up as a different advertiser for each affiliate network. You're not supposed to do that, are you, Tyler?
Nah.
No.
Depends. Some don't care.
But one more thing about diversity I forgot is media buyers. Have media buyers, because what's going to happen is you are going to find that sometimes your ads stop working. Sometimes some of your media buyers' ads stop working. But if you have multiple media buyers, there's always going to be 1 or 2 guys that are crushing it all the time. And that is very beneficial because you're constantly generating revenue. Right now, we're in a position right now where we're scaling up our media buyer team just so we never have downtime, and we have multiple streams of income coming in on different traffic sources and in different niches. So if you don't have any media buyers yet, try and partner up with some. If you have the funds to fund someone on their media buying side of things, do that. It's very beneficial. It takes time, you got to invest, but it's well worth it. So
Awesome.
How to find us. Sorry, Tyler, you got something to say about media
No, that's
buyers?
it. I was just going to
Anything?
wrap it up. I hope you guys found this
Okay.
useful. If you want to find us, we got our podcast, 7figureentp.com, YouTube, 7-Figure Entrepreneur. You can see our IG handles there, and then you can check out Gabe's lead gen course there if that's something you're interested in. Hope this was useful for you guys. If you ever see us in person, we're always at shows. We're always looking to meet more people in the industry. So stop up, say what's up, and look forward to meeting you guys there. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Later.